50,000 टैक्स जोड़ने के बाद हमें ई वे बिल की एप्लीकेबिलिटी चेक करेंगे. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज, मे again I am all these examples, I am the supplier, you are the buyers. ठीक है. I am a provision shop, wholesale dealer हूँ. मैं चावल बेच रहा हूँ एंड अनब्रांडेड है तो उसके ऊपर टैक्स नहीं है. आप रजिस्टर्ड हो, मैं भी रजिस्टर्ड हूँ. आप मेरे दुकान पे आके आप माल खरीद के जा रहे. इनवॉइस वैल्यू बन गई 80,000 रुपीज. इनवॉइस वैल्यू बन गई 80,000 रुपीज. क्या मैं बेच रहा हूँ? चावल, एग्जेम्प्टेड सप्लाई. इसके ऊपर ये जब माल लेकर जा रहे आप, ई वे बिल रेज करने की जरूरत है क्या? When I am selling a value which is exempted, should I raise an e-way bill? Very good. So I am getting the answers as no, and I am only seeing the same members who are answering as answering. I request whether right or wrong. हमने तो सीए पास हो गया तो अभी कोई टेस्ट नहीं है. भले राइट हो रॉन्ग हो, आप अपना आंसर दो. We can definitely discuss. And you can also please, wherever the numbers, mobile numbers admin वैसे है, please rename yourself तो discuss करने के लिए भी easy होगा. So the answer is again same. Consignment value हमने जब बोला था, consignment value का मतलब है taxable value. So if you clearly see in this slide, consignment value से exempt goods हमने हटा दिए. हमने खाली taxable value and the tax amount. So the e-way bill is required if a registered person is causing the movement in relation to supply, other than supply, whatever, and the consignment value is exceeding 50,000. Consignment value means taxable value. Okay. Now the question comes, if the value of the goods should be more than 50,000. Now the question that comes is, what is this consignment value? Let us take the same example. I will for whole of the practical purposes, we will keep only two examples. Example number one is I am a dealer of mobile phone, which is taxable supply. Example number two, I will be dealer of a rice, which is exempt supply. मान लेते हैं आप registered dealer हो, मैं registered dealer हूं. Okay, e-invoice is applicable, we have clearly seen. If you are not a registered dealer and you are the one who is causing the movement, e-invoice is not applicable. If the value is less than, we have seen, if the value is less than 50,000, e-invoice is not applicable. If the value is more than 50,000 but it is exempt as supply, e-invoice is not applicable. Now let's come to another scenario. This scenario is, आप unregistered dealer हो, you are not registered. I am registered. For all the examples, I am registered. You are not registered, you are a trader, you have a shop, but your turnover is less than 40 lakhs. तो आपने registration नहीं ले लिए. आपने मेरे दुकान पे आकर मान लेते हैं कि आपने मेरे दुकान से 5 मोबाइल फोन खरीदे आपने. You have purchased 5 mobile phone. Each mobile phone, again let us take one hypothetical examples, is 40,000 rupees. Each mobile phone is 40,000 rupees plus 4,000 CGST, 4,000 SGST. 48,000 rupees एक मोबाइल फोन का वैल्यू है. आपने 5 मोबाइल फोन खरीदी है. बस खाली एक ही चेंज है इसमें, हर एक मोबाइल फोन का आपने अलग अलग इनवॉइस बनवाई. तो आपके पास 5 इनवॉइसेस है. आपके पास 5 इनवॉइसेस है जो 50,000 के नीचे है, बट 500 जोड़ने के बाद वो तो 50,000 से ऊपर है. 500 माल आपने एक ही बार खरीदा है, एक ही बार मेरे से डिलीवरी लिए है, आप एक ही बार आप लेकर जा रहे हो. आप, यू आर एन अनरजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, आई एम ए रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन. you are taking it, is e-way bill required? Okay, now first time we got one no and a yes. Very good. Kamlesh bhai says no. Okay, Mistry says yes. Mistry ji ko. Now there we have multiple answer. कोई लोग बोल रहे yes, कोई लोग बोल रहे नहीं. Now people who are saying no, why no? Maybe you can unmute and speak, or you can put your answer in the chat.
इनवॉइस वैल्यू सर 50,000 से कम है इसी हिसाब से.
So
Different
our host is saying that 50,000 से कम है तो ई-वे बिल की जरूरत क्या है? अब let us hear from Kamlesh ji and Mittal ji. Now why do you say yes, sir? अब सर तो बोल रहे हैं कि 50,000 से कम है, तो ई इनवॉइस की ई-वे बिल की जरूरत क्या है? Okay. Now, one more tricky answer came up by Kunjar sir. Says that person who is causing the movement is unregistered, तो ई-वे बिल की क्या जरूरत है? तो दोनों आंसर मिल गए. एक तो 50. अब लेट मी ऐड दी अनदर ट्विस्ट. मान लेते हैं आप भी रजिस्टर्ड हो, मैं भी रजिस्टर्ड हूं, बट 5 इनवॉइसेस से 500 की वैल्यू 50,000 से कम है. जोड़ेंगे तो 50,000 से ऊपर है. आप एक ही ट्रक में लेकर जा रहे हो, एक ही आपकी गाड़ी में लेकर जा रहे हो. सो both the people are registered, each invoice value is less than 50,000, cumulative value is more than 50,000. Then do we require any e-way bill? Kunjar ji says e-way bill is required if both are registered. ठीक है. कमलेश जी आपका क्या व्यू है? E-way bill is regarding to movement, correct? So Kamlesh ji says that e-way bill has an excess with single movement. Yes, Kalpesh bhai बोलिए. Okay. Now हमें ये वाला ट्रिकी सिचुएशंस आते हैं, एंड वी शुड आल्सो बी वेरी वेरी डेफिनेटली वेरी, व्हाई ऐसे लीगल प्रोविजन जानने की जरूरत है. जब ऑफिसर पकड़ेंगे तभी हमें जाके बात करने के लिए इजी रहेगा. सर हमारी गलती क्या है इसमें? मानते कि एक ही इज लाइक, let them say to avoid the law, to avoid whatever you are saying, you can say all that. There's no second thing in it. But the words used is consignment value. Now, consignment value is referred to in the explanation 2 of Rule 138. They have referred it to Section 15. अगर आपके पास GST Act नहीं है, रूल्स नहीं है, जब भी आप कुछ सेशन अटेंड करते हो, माय पर्सनल व्यू, साथ ही साथ एक पेन एंड पेपर नोटबुक रखिए, एक्ट रूल बुक रखिए. इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इवन दो यू आर नॉट जीएसटी प्रैक्टिशनर, एटलीस्ट कोई कुछ बोलेंगे तो लिखकर इजी रहेगा. तो जब आप एक्सप्लेनेशन 2 पढ़ेंगे, एक्सप्लेनेशन 2 ये बोलता है कि कंसाइनमेंट वैल्यू ऑफ द गुड्स शैल बी डिटरमाइंड इन अकॉर्डेंस विद द प्रोविजंस ऑफ सेक्शन 15. वेरी गुड. Now you may ask that, acha, okay, section 15, so it says value of the goods, so that is plural. So आपने 5 लेकर जा रहे, तो 5 आइटम्स का गुड्स जोड़ दीजिए, वो तो 50,000 के ऊपर हो गया. Now unfortunately under the e-way bill portal, आप एक इनवॉइस को मल्टीपल ई-वे बिल नहीं दे सकते हो, या मल्टीपल इनवॉइसेस को जोड़ के एक ई-वे बिल नहीं दे सकते हो. एक इनवॉइस को एक ई-वे बिल ही बनेगी, एक इनवॉइस को एक ई-वे बिल ही बनेगी. तो इसका मतलब हुआ consignment value of the goods in that invoice or the delivery challan. Consignment value of the goods in that invoice or delivery challan should be considered for the purpose of this assessment. So far, with the, I am still in the first slide itself. So far, with this explanation given, I'm not going to rule 138 sub rule 7. So far, with this answer, ई-वे बिल की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. ई-वे बिल की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी, even though you are carrying value more than 50,000 rupees cumulatively, but not in the single invoice. So far so clear. अगर किसी को कुछ डाउट है अब तक, अगर कुछ डाउट है तो पूछ लीजिए सर, बिकॉज ई-वे बिल का क्वेश्चंस ना आपको अनलाइक अदर थिंग्स यू विल नॉट बी हैविंग मच पेशेंस. ये तो फोन पे ही चर्चे होते रहते हैं. चलो लास्ट थिंग. नाउ I am the supplier of the phone, mobile phone, but at the same time, I also have service center. मेरे पास सर्विस सेंटर भी पड़ा हुआ है. तो जो भी फोन्स रिपेयर के लिए आते, मान लेते मेरा आउटलेट से 4-5 आउटलेट से, वहाँ आउटलेट में फोन आता है, वहां से मैं अपने सर्विस सेंटर को लेकर आता हूँ, उसको सर्विस करके वापस वहां दे देता हूँ, एंड इट विल बी गिवन टू द कस्टमर. जब भी कोई सर्विस के लिए आता है, मोबाइल छोड़ते हैं, देर आर branded stores will give a temporary mobile phone for them to use. Now, in these cases, I might also rent the equipments. Like today, people are working from home. You don't want to invest on, say, laptop or anything. एक महीने के लिए लैपटॉप आप रेंट पे ले लेते हो, 2000 में आता है, कोई देता है, आप बोलते हो तो चलो एक महीने के लिए मैं रेंट पे ले लेते हैं. Now the question is, I am giving an equipment for rent. The value of that equipment is 1 lakh. But I am giving it for rent for 2000 rupees. तो आप बोलते हो मेरे एम्प्लॉय के घर में जाके आप ये लैपटॉप इंस्टॉल करके, सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल करके आ जाइए. तो एक महीने का लॉकडाउन है, एंड मैं एक महीने के बाद आप मटेरियल आपका आप वापस ले लीजिए. आपका सर्विस चार्जेस बनती है 2000. जब ये लैपटॉप आप इंस्टॉल करने जाएंगे, तब ई-वे बिल की जरूरत है क्या? Question is, you are giving it as service, not supply of goods. You are giving it as service, not supply of goods. You are not selling the goods. You are not a transporter. You are just taking your laptop, going there, installing it, giving it for use, and एक महीने के बाद वापस ले लेंगे. आपका सर्विस चार्जेस है 2000 रुपए. Is ई-वे बिल required?
No, sir.
Okay, so we got 2 answers as no. What about others? I don't know. आप अगर खाना खा रहे हैं and you are not able to type it is okay. But those if I can get more answers, I'll be happy. Manish ji says no. Yatin ji says no. Rupesh bhai says no. Very good. Nirav ji says no. Okay. Unfortunately, all the answers are wrong. Okay, lastly, we got a correct answer. It says yes. Now let's look at the next aspect. The e-way bill requirement is applicable whether it is for supply or reason other than supply. In this situation, am I supplying the laptop? Answer is no. But the value of the goods that are moving is more than 50,000. This is where most of the mistakes that happen, and we wouldn't be educating the client. Client would also be unaware of this. Hence, in this situation where the value is other than supply, whether the value, where the moment value exceeds 50,000 for a reason other than the supply, ई-वे बिल की जरूरत है. अगर आपने ई-वे बिल जनरेट नहीं किया, पेनल्टी प्रोविजंस बाद में देखेंगे, बट 200% of the tax amount is the penalty. This is the common mistake people do, thinking that मैं तो लैपटॉप सेल नहीं कर रहा हूं, 2000 की कमाई है, वो तो सर्विस है, ई-वे बिल तो गुड्स के ऊपर चाहिए. बट ई-वे बिल is not supply. Please note, e-way bill is not supply. E-way bill is wherever there is movement, wherever there is movement, तभी जाके ई-वे बिल जरूरत पड़ेगी. ई-वे बिल और इनवॉइस की लिंक होने का there is no requirement, both should match. Now same example continuing, अगर ये लैपटॉप में रेंट पे दे रहा हूं तो क्यों ई-वे बिल चाहिए? गवर्नमेंट वांट्स टू ट्रैक ऑल द मूवमेंट वेयर द मूवमेंट वैल्यू इज मोर देन 50,000. योर सप्लाई वैल्यू इज 2,000, but the item that is moving is more than 50,000, hence e-way bill is required. Now the next question that may come up is, how do you know the value is more than 50,000? इसका तो depreciation हो गया. चलो आपकी तरफ से, आपके बुक्स के हिसाब से, या आज की डेट पे आप उसको सेल करोगे तो क्या वैल्यू बनती है? अगर वो वैल्यू 50,000 के ऊपर रहेगा तो ई-वे बिल की जरूरत है. So far so clear? Now let's come to the next part of it, is who has to raise the e-way bill? Who has to raise the e-way bill? You are the buyer, I am the seller. You are registered, I am registered. Please note, you are also registered, I am also registered. Question is, who has to raise the e-way bill? Should it be by seller? Should it be by buyer? Should it be by transporter? So according to you, who should be raising the e-way bill? I have given you three points: seller, buyer, transporter. Who should be raising the e-way bill? Please put your answer in the chat. Yatinji says seller. Okay, most of us are saying seller. Now, Nirav says seller and the transporter. Now, e-way bill has to be generated. E-way bill has to be generated by the person who is causing the movement. By the person who is causing the movement. Whether that person could be buyer, seller, or transporter. There would be a situations where both seller and buyer is not registered, then the transporter has to generate. So the person who is causing the movement, that person has to generate the e-way bill. It could be I, as a registered person, buying the goods from an unregistered person. As a buyer also, I should be generating the e-way bill. So it should be a registered person. It could be seller, buyer, it doesn't matter. So that is why in the GTA contract, you will see consignor and consignee. Consignor is someone who is initiating the movements. Consignee is someone who is receiving those goods. Consignor can be buyer, consignor can be seller. So whomsoever is causing, how do you know whomsoever is causing? आप मेरे दुकान पे आके खरीद रहे हो या मैं आपके गोडाउन पे आके सप्लाई कर रहा हूं, वो उसका हिसाब से कौन जनरेट करना तय होता है. Is that clear? So with this, the primary understanding of who has to generate it is clear, because most of the issues that would come up is people think that e-way bill is not required these situations, and they wouldn't have raised the e-way bill. Now there are some exceptions. ये 50,000 का जो है, there are some exceptions. What are the exceptions? The exceptions is if the goods are going for job work, if the goods are going for job work in the interstate, or if the goods are handicraft goods, because government has given an exemption for registration for the handicraft the people. So if the goods are handicraft going from one state to other state, even though the value is less than 50,000, e-way bill की जरूरत है, generation of an e-way bill is required. Now, the issues in the e-way bill, I would say, can be avoided if the legal knowledge, legal provisions are known in advance. Handicrafts के goods list दिया हूँ, it's okay, we will ignore. Next thing is, there is a mechanism to avoid or detect the fraudulent e-way bills. जीएसटी के कानून में ये तो पता है कि हर एक व्यक्ति जो रजिस्ट्रेशन लिया हुआ है, उनके ऑफिस के सामने जीएसटी नंबर बड़ी अक्षर में बोर्ड लगा के डिस्प्ले करना है. अब मेरे को माल उठा के कहीं भेजना है, अब मैं क्या करता हूँ, वो इलाके का कुछ भी जीएसटी नंबर डाल के मैं माल भेज देता हूँ. Now, I as a recipient, it could be seller, whatever, I as a recipient of goods have an option to reject. I have an option to reject, even though there is an invoice e-way bill raised towards me. I can reject within 72 hours, saying that ये मुझे पता नहीं, कोई फ्रॉडुलेंट आदमी मेरे नाम पे फ्रॉड कर रहा है, मेरे नाम पे मटेरियल मूव हो रहा है. तो इसके लिए एक इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है, अपनी जीएसटी वेबसाइट में जब भी रजिस्ट्रेशन हुआ है, मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम अकाउंटेंट का मोबाइल नंबर पे किए होंगे या एमडी का मोबाइल नंबर पे किए होंगे, and the email id could have been some the CA email id, whatever. It is always recommended to give a proper email address which can be continuously used. It is not a person dependent. दूसरी चीज, हर एक कंपनी दे शुड टुडे, इफ यू अगर हम देखा जाएंगे तो जितने भी हमारा कंप्लायंसेस है वो सभी ऑनलाइन है. तो एक कंपनी नाम पे एक मोबाइल लेना है, जो हम ओटीपी आती है, जो पर्सन डिपेंडेंट नहीं है. कल ये अकाउंटेंट या दूसरे अकाउंटेंट चेंज हो गया तो उन तो भी वो नंबर पे मैसेज आए. So whenever an e-way bill is generated, system will automatically send a trigger a message and saying that ये नाम पे एक e-way bill generate हुआ. You can log in and you can keep rejecting it. So there is a method of accepting and rejecting. Now 72 hours के अंदर आपने अगर accept नहीं किया तो it is deemed rejected. It is deemed rejected. Next thing, जब भी कोई e-way bill generate करते हैं, जब भी कोई ई-वे बिल जनरेट करते हैं, उसका वैलिडिटी पहले हर 100 किलोमीटर को एक दिन का वैलिडिटी थे, बट अभी वो कम किया गया 100 से 2 किलोमीटर. 200 किलोमीटर की दूरी एक दिन में कंप्लीट करना है. अगर एक दिन में कंप्लीट नहीं हुआ तो ई-वे बिल का वैलिडिटी चला जाएगा, इट बिकम्स एक्सपायर हो जाएगा. अगर आपने 500 किलोमीटर की दूरी कंप्लीट करनी है तो 500 मतलब 200 200 400 हो गया, उसका 2 दिन. तीसरी 200, इवन दो इट इज 100, इट दे विल गिव यू वन फुल डे. सो इसका मतलब है 500 किलोमीटर के लिए आपको 3 दिन का वैलिडिटी मिलेगा. नाउ ये वैलिडिटी कब तक गिना जाएगा? अब मान लीजिए ये टाइम पे हमने जनरेट किया ऑन 5th June at 3:46 PM afternoon, we have generated the e-way bill. Even though they say 1 day, but the legal interpretation of 1 day is it is midnight of that day. It is midnight of that day. So only the midnight of that day it becomes till that point it is a valid e-way bill. Uske baad it becomes a lapse. Now the question to you all again is, I have generated an e-way bill. Material has to move from Bangalore say that we are generating the goods from Bangalore to your location. Now, when the goods have to move all the way from Bangalore to Navsari, and मान लेते it is 900 किलोमीटर की दूरी है, बैंगलोर से नवसारी 900 किलोमीटर की दूरी है. नाउ ये मटेरियल माल वहां तक जाने के लिए रफली हमें 900 का मतलब 5 दिन का वैलिडिटी ई वे बिल पोर्टल से मिलती है. गाड़ी यहां से रवाना हुआ, लॉकडाउन की वजह से 1-2 दिन कहीं रुक गया. उसके बाद पहुंचते पहुंचते इट हैज रीच्ड योर डेस्टिनेशन आउटस्कर्ट्स ऑफ नवसरी. इट हैज रीच्ड on fifth day and next day morning unloading के लिए आपके पास आना है. sixth day morning someone is stopping the vehicle saying that e-way bill expire हो गया है. Question to you is the officer right in stopping the vehicle where it has reached the not the destination but the destination city, and it is on the way to deliver? Is it right on the part of the officer to stop the vehicle and say that the e-way bill is not valid? What do you say? Kunjar sir says no. Our host says yes. Yatin says yes. The answer is morally you may say, sir, इतना दूर भाग के तो आया but थोड़ा बहुत बचा हुआ है. Answer is definitely it is invalid. What do you mean by invalid? As good e-way bill is not generated. So the officer has a power. Officer has a power to levy the penalty. Now, most of the cargoes are regular cargoes. They are not over-dimensional cargo. Over-dimensional cargoes, matlab, you will find very big truck. Like it is not small lorry which will go. The very, very big truck. It needs little additional time. So over dimensional cargo is हर एक 20 किलोमीटर के लिए एक दिन लगती है. So whenever they carry statues, monuments and various things, or ये windmill की जो पंखे होते हैं, so उसके लिए कम time लगता है. Yeah, when the goods which they are going in the terrain regions, so those places it will be at a lower thing. What is the common issue that happens is the e-way bill gets expired. Now, every time when an e-way bill is getting expired, expire होने के 8 घंटे पहले या expire होने का 8 घंटे के बाद, expire के पहले या expiry के बाद 8 घंटे समय रहता है. 8 घंटे के अंदर हम उसको ऑटोमेटिकली वैलिडिटी को एक्सटेंड कर सकते हैं. जो भी हमारा एक्सपायरी हुआ है, even though it is expired, it could be including before or after the validity can be extended. Most of the people are not aware of this. It is very much required that you use good software, you use technology. There are a lot of APIs, ASPs who have found out solutions wherein on a press of a button, most of the people use Tally as an accounting software, and there are a lot of tools which have been built around these small softwares. Lot of ASPs have provided a solution. आप खाली एक बटन दबा दीजिए, उसमें ऑटोमेटिकली एक दिन का और रिन्यूअल हो जाएगा. अगर आप 8 घंटे के अंदर renew करते हो, then it gets extended to by 1 day. What happened? I could not deliver in that 1 day. Again, press that button, it will get extended to next 1 day. Is there any time limit? As far as I know, I have not explored after 15 days, but there are multiple times I have given for renewal. Situations were there, the system has renewed it and the material has moved. Question that comes is, I was unable to renew it. I was unable to renew it and it has expired. What should I be doing? What should I be doing? Answer is very simple. Stop the vehicle. Stop the vehicle. Do not carry the goods. Do not carry the goods if you do not have a valid e-way bill. तो मैं क्या करूं? कैंसल द इनवॉइस. अरे मैं इनवॉइस कैसे कैंसिल कर सकता हूं? डिलीवरी तो नहीं हुआ, सप्लाई तो नहीं हुआ, सो डेफिनेटली यू कैन कैंसिल द इनवॉइस. चलो मैं इनवॉइस कैंसिल करके करूंगा क्या? इनवॉइस कैंसिल करके आप नया इनवॉइस बना दीजिए, नया ई-वे बिल बना दीजिए. क्यों नया इनवॉइस, नया ई-वे बिल? फॉर द सेम इनवॉइस आई हैव गिवन यू इन द बिगिनिंग, एक ही इनवॉइस पे दो ई-वे बिल नहीं बनेंगे. एक ही इनवॉइस पे दो ई-वे बिल नहीं बन सकते हैं. इसीलिए आपको नया इनवॉइस और नया ई-वे बिल करना है. अच्छा, अगर मैं नया इनवॉइस नया ई-वे बिल करूंगा तो मैं ट्रांसपोर्टर को या वो ट्रक ड्राइवर को पहुंचा दूंगा कैसे? उसको मैं फिर से यहाँ से कोरियर तो नहीं कर सकता हूं. तो गवर्नमेंट ने they have amended the rule 138, so they have inserted 138(2)(a), wherein they said if you are doing a electronic display of the QR code, if you are doing the electronic display of the QR code, it means that it is a valid e-way bill. You need not carry the physical documents. तो आप वो ट्रक ड्राइवर को एक व्हाट्सएप कर सकते हो, ये माल का ये इनवॉइस है, ये ई-वे बिल है. इनवॉइस में ओपन करूंगा तो माल भी सेम रहेगा, तो देयर इज नो इश्यू. ई-वे बिल की एक्सपायरी भी नहीं है, इसका उसका भी वैलिडिटी है, सो यू कैन ऑलवेज जस्टिफाई. नाउ पीपल विल हैव, सर क्या होगा ना, ई-वे बिल पोर्टल में दो इनवॉइस दिखेंगे, मेरे GSTR1 या 3B के हिसाब से मैंने एक ही इनवॉइस का टैक्स जमा कर चुका हूँ, इश्यू नहीं होगा क्या? इश्यू तो होगा, क्यों नहीं होगा? So definitely you will be, is like if there is a discrepancy is huge, notice मिलेगा आपको. आप जवाब लिख के दे सकते हैं कि हाँ गलती हो गई है, there is a difference. आप चाहिए मेरा स्टॉक स्टेटमेंट देख लीजिए, मेरा बैंक स्टेटमेंट देख लीजिए, मेरे पास इतना माल आया, इतना मैंने बेचा हूँ, एंड इन टाइम पे मेरा डिलीवरी नहीं हुआ था. कैंसलेशन के लिए कैंसलेशन विंडो भी खत्म हो गया था क्योंकि एक्सपायर हो गया. एक्सपायर ई-वे बिल को मैं कैंसिल भी नहीं कर सकता हूं, इसीलिए मैंने नया ई-वे बिल जनरेट किया. सो यू शुड अगेन एडवाइस बैक टू द क्लाइंट्स, अगर आपका ई-वे बिल एक्सपायर हो गया है तो आप गाड़ी को इमीडिएटली रोक देना है, एंड आपको उनको एडवाइस करना है कि ई-वे बिल या तो ई-वे बिल को रिन्यू करे या नया ई-वे बिल जनरेट करे. So hope this is clear. Any doubts to anyone so far? Sir, ये सभी practical issues है. People will be coming up with these issues itself. Sir, कि करे मैं करूं क्या? चलो, let's move to the next point. The documents that needs to be carried is whomsoever is the transporter along with the e-way bill, he should be carrying an invoice or bill of supply or delivery challan. It could be in physical or in the electronic form. It could be physical or electronic form. He should be carrying along with a copy of the e-way bill, an invoice, bill of supply and the delivery challan. Now just some time back we said अगर जो माल जा रही है, अगर वो if it is not a taxable goods, उसको तो इनवॉइसेस की जरूरत नहीं है. वी हैव क्लियरली सेड कि इनवॉइस की जरूरत पड़ती नहीं है. तो देन व्हाई आर वी सेइंग दैट ई-वे बिल के साथ बिल ऑफ सप्लाई या डिलीवरी चालान. डिलीवरी चालान तो सिंपल है, अभी तो एग्जांपल दिया हूं. When I am giving the computer on rent, I have clearly said it is movement and it is not supply, so you will not have an invoice. So you will be creating a delivery challan every time the documents are moving. Every time the documents are moving, sorry, every time the material is moving, along with the material there should be e-way bill and the respective documents. The documents could be invoice, bill of supply or delivery challan. Rule 55A of the act says wherever the invoice is not applicable, look for bill of supply or delivery challan. There are some exemptions given in rule 138 sub rule 14. Some taxable goods के ऊपर भी e-way bill जरूरत नहीं है, like a gold the thing, and some exempt goods like de-oiled cake, if they are being transported, e-way bill की जरूरत है. There they can fall in the exception category, which again you should advise the client. But what is very important is अगर e-way bill की जरूरत नहीं है, even though it is not required, then you should be having some other document. So value more than 50,000, taxable value more than 50,000, then it is e-way bill plus invoice, bill of supply or delivery challan. If the value is less than 50,000, please note, if the value is less than 50,000, then point number 1 is must invoice, bill of supply or delivery challan. So इसका मतलब है the mal, wherever there is a transportation of goods, and he is not having an invoice, either there should be a bill of supply or a delivery challan along with it. अगर दोनों साथ नहीं जा रहे, then again there will be a penalty. I will come to the penalty provisions very soon. But very important that you should advise the client whenever the material is going, there should be the necessary documents going along with it. Now let's come to a question that, okay, I am selling, let's say I am, okay, yeah, very good. I am selling transformer. Okay, I am into business of, I am class 1, class 2, class 3, whatever the electrical contractor, I am eligible for selling transformers. I am selling a transformer. Now transformer तो मैं पूरा जोड़ के आपको बेच नहीं सकता हूँ, तो आपके साइट में आकर उसको मैं एरेक्ट करके करना पड़ेगा. एंड वो तो इतना लंबा चौड़ा रहेगा कि मैं एक ही गाड़ी में भेज नहीं सकता हूँ. वो मटेरियल भेजने के लिए मेरे को एटलीस्ट 5-6 गाड़ी चाहिए. अब ये भी हमने डिस्कस कर दिया है कि एक इनवॉइस को एक ही ई-वे बिल बनेगी. मल्टीपल इनवॉइसेस, मल्टीपल ई-वे बिल्स का कॉम्बिनेशन कॉन्सेप्ट है नहीं. नाउ ऑल दीज आइटम्स आर बीइंग सोल्ड इन वन इनवॉइस. मैं तो आपको एक ही ट्रांसफार्मर बेच रहा हूं, तो एक ही इनवॉइस इश्यू करूंगा. अब क्वेश्चन ये बनती है कि मेरे को कितना, लेट अस टेक एन एग्जांपल, आई एम सेंडिंग द मटेरियल इन 5 trucks. I am sending the material in 5 trucks. So the question to you is, there is one invoice, taxable value more than 50,000 rupees, 15 lakh ka value hai, and it is going in 5 trucks. How many e-way bills are required? Please reply in the chat. Okay. In fact, CA Kunjar Shah has given more right answer. He said the first 4 materials, 4 trucks which are going, they should be going with delivery challan and e-way bill. So there are 4 DCs and e-waybill. The last lot which is going, will be going with the invoice and the e-waybill. So the act clearly says, act में नहीं है दिया, but FAQs में दिया गया कि जब there is a multimodal movement or SKD, CKD movement, or the goods are going in multiple lots, then for each lot, please generate an e-waybill because it is moving and the value of the transaction is more than 50,000 rupees. Raise the delivery challan for the all the initial movements. For the last consignment, you please give the delivery, the invoice and the e-waybill. Here again, people make a mistake. What they do is they generate one e-waybill and one invoice, give a copy of that to all the trucks and says that आप carry कर लो, अगर कोई पूछेगा तो बताओ कि ये तो एक ट्रक में नहीं चलेगी इसीलिए हमने दिया है. But unfortunately, again in the e-waybill you have to give the truck number. There is no way you can give truck 1, truck 2, truck 3. You cannot give that way a bifurcation. This is again a common issue, common mistake that happens.
सर
Yes sir, बोलिए सर.
एक्सपोर्ट इनवॉइस के केस में क्या होता है कि एक्सपोर्ट इनवॉइस एक बनता है, लेकिन 3 अलग अलग गाड़ी में लोड होता है माल और फिर पोर्ट पे जाता है. तो उस केस में डिलीवरी चालान एक्सपोर्ट इनवॉइस में नहीं बनाने देते वो लोग. पोर्टल एक्सेप्ट नहीं करता डिलीवरी चालान.
सर हाँ, so whenever you are moving the goods in lots, whenever the material is moved in lots, if I talk about the e-waybill, when you open the portal, the first thing it will ask is inward, outward. Okay, this is outward. Supply, reason other than supply. For the आपके केस में एक्सपोर्ट है, मैं आपके लोकेशन से आप कांडला पोर्ट या पोर्ट तक माल 3-4 कार्गो में भेजना है. आप 3 ट्रक में जब भेज रहे हो, you will be selecting delivery challan. And when you are selecting delivery challan, because the truck related items are not sold in standalone. So when you are selecting the delivery challan, you will get that option. Why delivery challan? You will be giving SKD, CKD lots. There is another option. You will be selecting that. Once you select that, you will be able to prepare कर सकते हो. तो आप वो पोर्टल में ऑप्शन से कर सकते हो. द लास्ट आइटम का आपको खाली इनवॉइस सेलेक्ट करना है.
ओके
Okay. Now, I said in rule 138 sub rule 14, there are some more exceptions where the e-waybill has been relaxed or a new items brought in. So relaxation देखते हैं. The government has given a relaxation कि e-waybill की जरूरत नहीं है अगर माल नॉन मोटराइज्ड कन्वेयंस पे जा रहा है. we know मंडी मार्केट से लोग या बैलगाड़ी या स्मॉल कार्ट में या सिर के ऊपर रख के लाइक दे कैरी इट. व्हेनेवर द गुड्स irrespective of the value कितने भी हो, wherever the goods are moving in a non motorized conveyance, then e-waybill की जरूरत नहीं है. because e-waybill बनती है पार्ट ए एंड पार्ट बी. e-waybill बनती है पार्ट ए एंड पार्ट बी जोड़ने के बाद e-waybill बनती है. अगर पार्ट बी नहीं बनी तो e-waybill नहीं है. पार्ट बी इज चेंजेबल. पार्ट बी इज चेंजेबल. पार्ट बी क्या है? व्हीकल नंबर. इन ए नॉन मोटराइज्ड कन्वेयंस I cannot give the human DNA as a number, so there is no way e-waybill की requirement. Next thing, if the goods are moving from customs port or from the port to another place for clearance, again not required. And if there are schedule 3 items, right now there is nothing schedule 3, but if there are schedule 3 items, not required. Exempted goods 9 subsection 2 which are deferred for a future levy, इन सबका e-waybill की जरूरत नहीं है. Then the goods are being transported from say Nepal or Bhutan to another place, but they are just passing by the Indian borders. So again, the e-way bill is not required. Now, question that comes is sometimes sometimes the equipment itself, is being sold. For example, you see this new cars which are released, say Kia Motors, when they are released, the production plant is there in Andhra Pradesh. Goods have to be sold in Delhi, Gujarat, Calcutta, every place. What I am transporting is vehicles. Should e-way bill be required? Answer is yes. Should e-way bill is required? Answer is yes. But I am transporting an empty cargo containers. I'm transporting an empty cargo containers. Then e-way bill is not required. These are the taxable items: LPG, kerosene oil, postal baggage. These are the taxable items, but brought outside from the levy. Next, rule 138, sub rule 7. Now, this is something which has been brought into the law, saying that agar na to buyer, na to seller, neither consignor nor consignee, दोनों जनरेट नहीं कर रहे ई-वे बिल. क्यों? Both are unregistered, could be personal goods, whatever. Then the ownership has been brought onto the transporter, saying that अगर वो लोग जनरेट नहीं कर रहे तो the transporter has to generate an e-way bill. Please note, transporter has to generate the e-way bill if the value of the conveyance, now here it is not the consignment, the sum total, the aggregate value of the items in the conveyance is more than 50,000, then the transporter has an obligation to generate it. Thankfully, this provision is still not notified. 138 sub rule 7 is still kept under abeyance. In fact, the transporters have done a hartal saying that, okay, we are not geared up and it is not possible. But this is one provision in the law. We never know when it will be invoked, but this is one has to be careful on it. Another points that needs to be considered. I said e-way bill has two parts, part A and part B. Now, when a transporter is taking the goods, he has to carry all the e-way bills with him, whether physical or digital. If the transporter has a challenge, the government has given an option. They can club all the e-way bills and generate one consolidated e-way bill. So e-way bill 01 was the e-way bill. E-way bill 02 is a consolidated e-way bill. Agar for some reasons, if the goods are transported from one way, transferred from one vehicle to another vehicle, either vehicle has broken down or that vehicle will not fit, like in the state of majority of the cities, the heavy goods vehicles are not permitted to be traveled within the city. They have to come to the outskirts and they have to go to the bypass, or the movement in the city is permitted only from night 10 o'clock to early morning 6 o'clock. Now these goods have to be delivered. Generally, the practice is at the outskirts, the goods get unloaded, and from there, the goods will move into a smaller container to the city. So whenever the goods are loaded or unloaded from one conveyance to another conveyance, either by the consignor or recipient or the transporter, whomsoever is generating the e-way bill, that person can change the vehicle number. It is mandatory that the vehicle number has to be changed. This is again the practical issue which we notice, that the transporters do not update the vehicle number, the vehicle in which the material is being taken. If the vehicle number is not updated, then again it deems that it is not a valid e-way bill. However, there is one exception to material moving in a different vehicle is, for example, where I have to ship my goods from your location, Okay, you are from your location, you want to ship the goods to say Kandla port, and or you want to ship it to Bombay or some other place. From your factory godown or from your showroom, you are taking the goods in your small vehicle, to the transporter place. Transporter there, he is going in putting it into a different thing. अगर आपका गोडाउन एंड ट्रांसपोर्टर का गोडाउन 50 किलोमीटर के अंदर है, 50 किलोमीटर तक अंदर है, देन पार्ट बी अपडेट करने की जरूरत नहीं है. They did not say that do not generate an e-way bill. They said with part A, मतलब अधूरी e-way bill के साथ आप माल मूव कर सकते हो. This is what the provision has been given. So what people think is, I am not the one who is transporting. मैं तो ट्रांसपोर्टर को देने जा रहा हूँ, वो मूव मटेरियल मूव करेगा, तभी जाके ई-वे बिल बनेगी. आप क्यों मेरे को रोक रहे हो? द आंसर इज आपको यू हैव टू से मैं ट्रांसपोर्टर गोडाउन के पास जा रहा हूँ, वहां हैंड सौंप दूंगा, वो जनरेट करेगा. वो तो 50 किलोमीटर के अंदर है, तो ई-वे बिल की जरूरत नहीं है. ई-वे बिल की जरूरत नहीं है मतलब पार्ट बी की ही जरूरत नहीं है. अगेन मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल मेक कॉमन मिस्टेक हियर. They do not carry part A. The provision in rule 138.5 gives relaxation only for part B. It doesn't give relaxation for the part A. Then comes cancellation. So cancellation time limit is 24 hours of the generation. So whenever you are not able to move the goods, you cancel the goods within the cancel the e-way bill within 24 hours of generation. Very important point you have to note in the e-way bill is, e-way bill has two parts, part A, part B. एक बार e-way bill जनरेट किया, ओनली पार्ट बी को आप एडिट कर सकते हो, पार्ट ए को एडिट नहीं कर सकते हो. पार्ट ए में क्या रहता है? इनवॉइस डिटेल, हु इज द बायर, हु इज द सेलर, बायर का जीएसटीएन, सेलर का जीएसटीएन, डिस्पैच कहाँ से होगा, डिलीवरी कहाँ होगा, क्या क्या माल जा रहा है, उसका वैल्यू क्या है, पूरा वो इनवॉइस के साथ 100% मैच होना है. अगर मैच नहीं हो रहा है तो अगेन इट बिकम्स ए इनवैलिड ई-वे बिल. नाउ व्हाट इज दिस percentage of matching? The percentage of matching is 100%. So that is where I will say use the software so that यहाँ जो इनवॉइस है एग्जैक्टली वही डेटा वहां भी पंच होगा. अगर गलत आप इनवॉइस दिया, गलत ई-वे बिल बनेगा, बट एटलीस्ट ऑफिसर कैन नॉट स्टॉप एंड से दैट ओके ये गलत है. So most of the people again they notice that I instead of writing Venugopal naam, so I have written Dheeraj ji, so चलेगा by हाथ में चेंज कर लेता हूँ, ई-वे बिल में सही सही डाल देते हैं. नो, दैट इज नॉट अ राइट थिंग. You need to have a valid invoice and valid e-way bill. There is no facility to correct, not even a dot, inch, comma, spelling, space, nothing. एक बार generate होने के बाद you cannot change it. There are situations where you will have to have material एक जगह से उठाना है, दूसरी जगह डिलीवरी करना है. There are 4 different ways of e-way bill. Seller to buyer 1, seller bill to X, ship to Y, or the buyer dispatch from this place, bill to him, shipped there. So you have a combination of these 4: billing address, recipient address, dispatch address, delivery address. Combination of these 4 can also happen. Mandatory is buyer and seller. Mandatory is buyer and seller. Dispatch and shipping address is optional. What happens if I write the address of the seller, but the instructions are given, the delivery should happen to seller's godown or seller's customer, and it is not written in the invoice, Can officer intercept? The answer is yes. This is again common calls I get. Sir, मेरा गाड़ी पकड़ ली है क्योंकि मैं मेरा बॉस ने बताया तो बिल गुजरात में ही कर दो, अहमदाबाद में बिल करो, बट माल बड़ौदा में हैंड ओवर करना है। क्यों? बड़ौदा में उनका ब्रांच है, वहां डिलीवरी करना है। तो ई वे बिल में एड्रेस लिखा क्या? वो तो लिखे नहीं, बट मेरे को बोला गया। अगेन इट इज अनफॉर्चुनेट, whenever you have the difference between the bill to and ship to not mentioned in the e-way bill, the officer will say it is invalid. We have seen the bulk cargo, SKD, CKD, we have seen it, where we will invoice the, we will first prepare all the invoice, उसके बाद डिलीवरी चलान इशू करेंगे सब्सिक्वेंट कंसाइनमेंट को इनवॉइस का रेफरेंस देकर, एंड लास्ट कॉपी को हम ओरिजिनल इनवॉइस के साथ लास्ट कॉपी भेजेंगे। इफ द गुड्स आर गोइंग फॉर वेइंग पर्पस, मतलब आई एम सेंडिंग द गुड्स टू वेइंग ब्रिज, लाइक मेरे को अगर सेल करना है तो उसका क्वांटिटी पता रहना है। सो इफ द गुड्स आर गोइंग टू अ वेइंग ब्रिज, खाली ब्रिज में जाके वे करके वापस आएगा। तो अगर वेइंग ब्रिज 20 किलोमीटर के दूरी के अंदर है तो आप खाली डिलीवरी चलान इश्यू करेंगे, मटेरियल वहां जाएगा, वे होगा, वापस आ जाएगा, बिकॉज यू आर नॉट मेकिंग एनी सेल और एनीथिंग। तो ई वे बिल की जरूरत नहीं है वो सिचुएशन। Let's see, there are any questions so far? Any questions to anyone? Okay, there
Yes.
is one branch, one question by our host, sir. What should be done at the recipient end if the supplier who causes the movement of the goods has generated only part A and has not generated part B, and the time limit to update also expired? Okay, let me give what do you mean by time limit to generate or update expired. Generally, the moment you generate part A, you will get a time limit of 15 days. For a period of 15 days, that e-way bill part A is valid. Uske baad, you cannot update the part B. Or you have generated the part B, entered the vehicle number, then within 24 hours, you have to cancel. Now, luck was good. ऑफिसर कहीं पे भी कुछ कोई देखा नहीं है, पकड़ा नहीं है, माल सेफली मेरे पास पहुंच गया। Then can the officer invoke the penalty under section 129? The answer is no. If you look at the penalty provisions or the section which I was referring, the power to levy the penalty or the power under section 68 is inspection of goods during movement. Post movement मतलब गोडाउन पहुंच गया, it has reached the seller place. Post movement, if the goods have reached the destination, officer do not have power to call for penalty under 129. It is only a general provision under 122. Now it is very important who can levy the penalty. Can this officer who is intercepting the vehicle, he has reached your factory, he saw the material has come and there are no goods, can he invoke? Answer is no. Can he invoke? Answer is no. Section 3 of the Act defines who is the proper officer, and we have got a detailed circular 3, where the for which act, गाड़ी रोकने के लिए दूसरा प्रॉपर ऑफिसर है, 65 ऑडिट करने के लिए दूसरा प्रॉपर ऑफिसर है, 5960 असेसमेंट करने के लिए दूसरा प्रॉपर ऑफिसर है, सर्च सीजर इन सेक्शन 67 का इंस्पेक्शन करने के लिए दूसरे प्रॉपर ऑफिसर है। जीएसटी एक्ट के अंदर हर एक एक्टिविटी करने के लिए अलग अलग से प्रॉपर ऑफिसर से। One proper officer cannot invoke a penalty under a different section and a different thing. जब भी आपको नोटिस आएगा, पहले चीज आपको ये देखना है कि whether the officer has right the jurisdictional power to do whatever he has done or not, because under section 160 they have said that if you as a noticee recipient of the notice have acted on that notice in a good faith, then बाद में जाके अगर आपने चैलेंज नहीं किया, बाद में जाके आप चैलेंज करने का पावर लूज बेनिफिट लूज करोगे। अगर आपको कुछ भी डाउट है तो आप पहले ही इश्यू रेज करना पड़ेगा। Now, whenever the material is going, the officer has a right to verify the documents and the conveyance. So, agar he is stopping the vehicle, he has to complete the inspection within 24 hours and he has to issue EWB 03. And final report he has to give within 3 days. But if you feel that officer is misusing the power and he is not raising a notice, he is just waiting, keeping the vehicle with him, खाली रिश्वत लेने के लिए कुछ इश्यूज के लिए आपको लगता है कि ये कुछ गलत कर रहा है, then you can also as a transporter you can communicate as a complaint saying that my vehicle is detained unnecessarily and EWB 04. Most of the times, what I notice is if the penalty notice is invoked, you have to fight on the merits. It is very unlikely कि अगर officer ने छोड़ दिया कि then you have not paid or for some reason nothing happened, you cannot say that it has escaped the thing. No, because these demands are available on the portal and the penalties can be levied saying that you have removed the goods even without paying the penalties and taxes. What is that you can do? The moment someone is intercepting, you should ask for reason for it. You have to personally read the both invoice copy, e-way copy, मंगवा के आप फोन में मंगवा के दोनों चेक करिए whether the officer is right or the SSC is right. If the officer is right, let the SSC pay the tax. एक बार अगर पे कर देगा ना पेनल्टी, देन वो सुधर जाएगा कि गलती नहीं करना है। क्यों बोल रहा हूँ? The penalties under e-way bill are very high. The penalties under e-way bill are very high. Let's see what are the penalties. Firstly, there is we have a circular where the CBIC has said अनजाने में कुछ मिस्टेक्स हो सकते, जाने अनजाने में कुछ मिस्टेक्स हो सकते by the taxpayers. So we cannot be very harsh on the taxpayers saying that इतना आपको टैक्स जमा करना है, because once the e-way bill is issued, I have clearly said you cannot correct an inch, dot, anything in it. So a beautiful circular which has been issued, you should definitely be knowing it. You should definitely be insisting on the officer to invoke this circular if you feel that the mistake is genuine. If you feel the mistake is genuine, the circular has been issued in 2018. I think circular number 63, no, 64, circular 64. Which clearly says they have given 7 instances which says that पिन कोड थोड़ा इधर उधर हो गया, व्हीकल नंबर थोड़ा इधर उधर हो गया, सेलर का नाम थोड़ा इधर उधर हो गया. It's like everything is matching, but it is like a human clerical error. Why do I say human error, clerical error? It's like error is human. अगर हम by hand करते हैं ना कुछ गलत होता है. वो सिचुएशन में आप खाली स्मॉल पेनाल्टी डाल दीजिए. कितना स्मॉल पेनाल्टी है? 500 CGST, 500 SGST. वो सिचुएशन में उतना डाल दीजिए. उसके बाद you go levy the general penalty. Now what is the general penalty? General penalty is where the goods are not moving, where the goods are, there is no movement happening. Agar movement is not happening, we know the penalty that would be levied is section 122 and uska penalty बनती है 10,000 की. If the goods are moving, very important, if the goods are moving, then there are two things. The goods which are moving are taxable or exempt goods. Right? एग्जाम्ड गुड्स के लिए तो हमने ई वे बिल की जरूरत है ही नहीं है, तो फिर से ये पेनाल्टी प्रोविजंस क्यों? ई वे बिल की जरूरत नहीं है, बट द डॉक्यूमेंट्स तो रहना है, वेदर बिल ऑफ सप्लाई, डिलीवरी चलन, कुछ तो रहना है. So it is not supply. Please note, it is not supply. It is the goods which are going. Are they taxable goods or exempt goods? In the case of that computer which I am renting it out, in the case of that computer which I am renting it out, whether it was taxable or exempt, it was a taxable goods. So what is the levy of it? Section 129 says that चलो आपने वायलेट कर दिया, माल मेरे पास आ गया, अब आप मेरे से माल लेना है तो उतना इक्वल अमाउंट टैक्स मेरे को जमा कर दो. तो दे सेड 100% ऑफ द टैक्स प्लस ए पेनल्टी इक्वल टू 100% ऑफ द टैक्स. मतलब 1 लाख का वैल्यू है, 18,000 का टैक्स बनती है, तो 129 का पेनल्टी उसमें लगेगा 36,000. States make huge amount of money in it. If you have the state government portal and if they are explaining how much is the SGST collections from the appropriation and from 129, you will find around 300-400 crores of the taxes are collected in the name of section 129 evasion and penalty. In my personal view, if I'm talking morally, in my personal view, this section is very harsh. This section is very harsh, inhuman. You can, agar lawyer hai to bolte it is article 14 violation, whatever, but unfortunately this is the law. 18,000 is the tax amount, the penalty is 36,000. Now can I take a credit of it? No, it is like a loss. You cannot do anything. And even more important thing is, if you want that goods, that much is the penalty. There would be some like, not that every SSC is good, there would be some people whose business, उनकी धंधा चलती है टैक्स में ही, मतलब वो टैक्स का चोरी करते हैं. जो माल बेचते हैं, जो अगर कोई 100 रुपए में बेच रहा है, ये बंदा बोलेगा मैं 90 रुपए में बेच दूंगा. क्यों, कैसे मिलेगा? तो गवर्नमेंट को टैक्स जमा ही नहीं करता हूँ, तो उतना वो मुनाफा है. कुछ लोग ऐसे रहते हैं, वैसे बिजनेस वाले भी रहते हैं. उन लोगों क्या करते हैं, अगर कहीं कोई माल पकड़ा गया ना, तो जाते ही नहीं, चलो छोड़ दो. इट्स लाइक, क्यों जाके मेरा नाम खराब करना है, व्हाई शुड आई कम इनटू लाइमलाइट, वैसे ही छोड़ दो. So if someone is not coming forward for the payment of the taxes or claiming that yes I am the owner, then the taxes would be, the penalty would be treated as 50% of the value of the goods. 50% of the value of the goods. So if the owner is coming forward, then it is 100% of the tax as a tax and 100% penalty. If the owner is not coming forward, the 50% of the value of the goods is treated as penalty. The next thing, if it is an exempted goods, then 2% of the value of the goods or 25,000, whichever is lower. So this is the various penalty provisions that have been given under law. Now there would be situations where it will be confiscated also. If the difference ये होता है, अगर confiscate हो गया तो then the माल भी, ownership of the माल भी वापस जा रहा है. Like it will go to, penalty provisions go from 129 to 130, and when it goes to 130, then you have to buy the goods from the officer. So even if you are going to pay the tax, the officer can levy. Minimum penalty is 129, so which is 200% of the tax. Maximum penalty is value of the goods. So officer can say as if he is selling the goods back to you. So he will confiscate if it is, he feels that okay, you will evade, or if it is unaccounted goods, if there is a false representation or willful misconduct, the confiscation will also happen. Yeah, this was a minor penalty, circular 64. अगर spelling mistake गलत है, there are pin code error है, address error है, HSN 2 digit इधर उधर हो गया, तो इस ये situation में of the government said on a lighter note, put 500 rupees CGST, 500 rupees SGST जोड़ के दे दीजिए. The government has given a procedure, MOV forms. Honestly, is there a legal sanity for this MOV forms? Answer is no. There is no legal sanity for MOV forms. This is an internal document of the officer. These are not the forms which have been prescribed in the law. These are the forms which have been prescribed to say what should officer do. What should officer do? अगर गाड़ी को रोक दिया तो क्या करना है? अगर कोई आके वापस he is saying, arguing, saying that officer is wrong in whatever he is doing. So he has to have a procedural note. If he is releasing the vehicle, there are no discrepancies, then he should issue MOV5. Now you have to be very even more very clear and careful. अगर आपकी गलती नहीं है तो ऑफिसर बोल सकते हैं सर मैंने अब इनवॉइस चढ़ा दिया, ये पेनल्टी नोटिस डाल दिया, आप कुछ नहीं कर सकते, आप अपील में जाना है. He may say all those things. The MOV5 is very clear that the release order to be issued if there is no discrepancy is found and the vehicle has to be released. You can always tell them, please refer to MOV5. If there is no error, you have a right to release the vehicle. I have a right to get back my goods. You have an obligation to issue MOV5. It is not that एक बार आप कोई भी officer has issued a notice, ऐसा नहीं कि उसको clear नहीं कर सकते. Can be cleared and the vehicle will be released also. Okay. Now, the practical issues which that comes in generation of e-waybill, what I would do is I will take this along with the e-invoice related discussion. Let's just go to the e-invoice discussion. And I will discuss on the provisions of the e-invoice and the issues in the e-invoice along with the e-waybill practical side of the technology side of the issues. Now, e-invoice, we clearly know that the government has recently released. Let me just skip the theory part. Government has clearly released that the all large taxpayers, definition of large taxpayer was 500 crores. उसके बाद 100 crore हो गया, उसके बाद 50 crore हो गया. They have said that these people have to issue an e-invoice. And what is e-invoice? They said it is referred to Rule 48 sub Rule 4. You have to issue a document, you have to collect a document called IRN and issue it. And during the movement of the goods, they have made this amendment of carrying an e-invoice. Let's look at all those, the legal provisions first, then we'll go to the, again, theoretical aspects. Firstly, timelines were 500 crores, 100 crores, 50 crores. 50 crores went live from 1st April. The turnover, whatever we are saying, the reference to the turnover is there in the previous financial year. Matlab, if you have a turnover of more than 50 crores in financial year 1920, then in 2021 you have to do e-invoice. When in 2021, it has gone live from 1st April 21. So financial year 2021, sorry, 21-22, from 1st April, you have to do e-invoicing. So the government said, जब ये मैं previous year बोल रहा हूँ, not just 1 year, any of the preceding financial year, जब से GST शुरू हुआ है, तब से अगर आपकी टर्नओवर 50 करोड़ से ऊपर है, तो आपको e-invoice करनी है. This is one common mistake. Again, people do. They will only check in the previous year. Answer is no. Any time in the past. They have given an exemption. There is an exemption given in who are the people, even though e-waybill is applicable, sorry, e-invoice is applicable, your turnover has exceeded 50 crores, but they have given an exemption for the generation of the e-waybill, e-invoice. So we know in rule, they have already exempted the, by way of Rule 54, the SCZ units was newly added. The GTA, PTA, admission to cinematographic was already exempted earlier. So alongside the recent notification, they have also exempted the government or local authority if they have exceeded the turnover limit, then even they are also exempted from generating the e-invoice. SEZ, insurance banking, GTA, PTA, or cinematographic film, or a government or local authority. These people, even though if their turnover is exceeding, they need not issue e-invoice. The genesis of e-invoice came from notification 68, that is the mother notification. And for rule 48 is the manner in which the invoice has to be issued. They have said that wherever e-invoice is applicable, INV1 has to be done. And where can it be generated? They have given another common portal for it, notification 69. The contents of it is given by way of schema, notification 60. For generation of e-invoice, there are common questions that come is where e-invoice is applicable. Whatever you are seeing in the green color, e-invoice is applicable. Whatever you are seeing in the red, e-invoice is not applicable. It is applicable for a tax invoice. It is e-invoice is applicable for a tax invoice, and e-invoice is not applicable for a bill of supply. Again, even though I'm talking tax invoice, but if the tax invoice is issued to an unregistered person, it is issued to an unregistered person, not applicable. Only if it is issued to a registered person. Registered person means B2B or B2G. B2B or B2G, then the e-invoice is applicable. Notification 70 has amended. They said if a tax invoice is issued to for an exporter, export of goods also, e-invoice is applicable. A credit note and a debit note alongside of the tax invoice, e-invoice is applicable. Not applicable for delivery challan, ISD invoice. If you are doing a self-tax invoice for import for unregistered dealer purchase or import of goods, e-invoice is not applicable. This is common question people ask, where it is applicable, where it is not applicable. Another thing one should be very much aware of the e-invoice is this has to be generated on a real time in the common portal, because if you are issuing any invoice to the customer other than e-invoice, it is not a valid invoice. Okay, what are the issues? Let's understand both while generating e-invoice. I will extend this to e-way bill also. Firstly, when it comes to the e-invoice, it is generated in the offline utility. People do not save the QR code. So people, there is a cancellation time. The time for cancellation a document is both in the e-invoice and e-way bill is 24 hours. They do not cancel it. Then if recipient GSTN ID is inactive, if the recipient GSTN ID is inactive, then the portal doesn't allow to generate. This has been amended very recently, and they said if the supplier is inactive, it's fine, because this was a issue which was there, and they have said that okay, as long as supplier is there, it will be generated. There are invalid HSN codes. People think that I can suffix with 00. Let us say I'm selling computer, I know 8705. उसके बाद from 1st April 6 digit लगाना है, तो मेरे के बाद वो सब digits याद नहीं है, 870500 डाल देता हूँ, invoice issue कर दिया. When I actually go to e-invoice or e-way bill portal, then I see I am not able to generate because I have a invalid HSN code. Newly sanctioned customer, newly obtained registrations. The GSTN and NIC are two different portals. Every day the database gets synced. So sometimes that happens. So you will have to wait. We know sometimes NIC portal is down, e-way bill portal is down. What can I do? The answer, there is no right answer to it, is you have to wait. And I would always say use APIs. There are APIs which has been given, use them. Then people use some software. So people say that कोई आएगा e-invoice का सॉफ्टवेयर कितना है, कोई बोल रहा है 25,000, तो दूसरा एक बंदा बोला है सर मैंने किसी को दिया है, मेरे पास कोड है, मैं उसको थोड़ा चेंज करके दे दूंगा, 10,000 15,000 आपको दे दिए. So businesses take some decision calls based on the price. What I have found, many bugs, not just one, many during my review of different softwares, there are bugs and very low quality software developers who generate these applications. So you should find a right software. Then the usage of the e-way movement. We have these multiple options, combinations. People definitely do not use this while moving the goods. This is a common error. When there is a multi-mode, मतलब rail, उसके बाद मैं ट्रक में दे रहा हूँ. So when there is a multi-mode, there is an option to change it. Please change it. Whenever the goods are being exported, लोग सोचते हैं अरे मैं तो फॉरेन कंट्री भेज रहा हूँ, तो वेयर इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ ई वे बिल. आंसर इज नो. आपके लोकेशन से आप शिप तक तो मूव कर रहे हो, तो ई वे बिल की जरूरत है. अगेन पीपल डू नॉट जनरेट एन ई वे बिल देयर. There are issues in the schema. This is being addressed and the schema is updated. When it comes to the content in the invoice, people generate a credit note and a debit note for a differential item. Wherever there is a differential tax, you cannot generate a credit note and a debit note, even though section 34 permits. For example, I have sold the goods to you for 1 lakh plus 18%, but by mistake in the invoice I have generated as 1 lakh plus 28%, 1,28,000. इनवॉइस आपके पास आया, माल आपके पास आया, आप वापस बोल रहे हो नहीं नहीं ये गलत है, आप उसको 18,000 कर दो, 10,000 का क्रेडिट नोट दे दो. There is no method in the law to, without giving the value, only reducing the 10,000 by way of credit note. So you should issue a debit note for full and issue a credit note for full. Then when the material goes for the job work, so when the material is going for the job work, it is going for delivery challan. मान लीजिए I am a tailor. It comes to me 300 rupees एक क्लॉथ आया, मैंने सिलाने के बाद वापस आपको 100 rupees मेरा जॉब वर्क चार्जेस. वापस मैं आपको जब भेज रहा हूँ, वो जॉब वर्क चार्जेस जोड़ के आपको मटेरियल भेजना है. And the HSN might change when the job work is happening. It may emerge into a new product, or it is just packing, labeling, whatever. You need to ensure there is a proper HSN, and you should also add these additional item, transportation, packing, all these things should be added both in the e-invoice and e-way bill. This is again common mistake, people don't add it. Then if the goods are supplied through e-commerce portals have been given to handle it. There are a lot of e-commerce portals who have given APIs to integrate. Many people are not aware, they don't do it. Then there are situations where the changes are happening post generation of the invoice. आपने इनवॉइस इशू किया, ई-वे बिल हो गया, उसके बाद आप पार्टी का नाम चेंज कर रहे हो, पार्टी का जीएसटीएन आईडी चेंज कर रहे हो, या कुछ चेंजेस कर रहे हो. ये चेंजेस वो ई-वे बिल या ई इनवॉइस पोर्टल में रिफ्लेक्ट नहीं होगा. So you got to be very careful. And we now know the data is now auto-populated. Data is now auto-populated both from the e-invoice portal or the e-way bill portal. You know the data can be spooled directly to GSTR1. So this is something which is happening. And whenever there is a correction which you have done in the books of accounts which is not there in the government portal, you have to take an extra care to amend the data in the GSTR1. All right. So friends, these are the various issues which I have thought one should be aware of both in the e-way bill and the e-invoice. With this, I have come to the end of my presentation. Exactly, we have 4:45. We have 15 minutes for discussing any question and answers.
Members can raise their questions.
Yeah, there's a question from Dhavalji. Is it necessary to consider e-invoice in case of petrol, diesel or liquor industry? The answer is no. E-invoice is applicable, as I have mentioned, e-invoice is applicable only for a taxable item. Now, petrol, diesel, these are not a taxable item. You don't issue a tax invoice when you supply them. Hence, e-invoice is not applicable to that. Any other question? किसी को और भी डाउट कुछ क्वेश्चन है? You can ask anything which is practical. You are facing it. I hope I have covered most of the issues what is relevant, as when sir called me and said that sir thoda practical rakhte hai, so I have restricted more and I have not looked into from the how to generate it on the portal in terms. Most of you according to me would have understood e-waybill would have generated, but क्या क्या on ground errors हो रहे हैं उसी को मैं सोचा टच करेंगे. But however, if you feel that there is some other thing which you need a clarity, वो भी discuss कर सकते.
आई थिंक सब क्लियर हो गया अभी तो. फिर भी मेंबर्स अगर कुछ क्वेश्चन हो तो आस्क कर सकते हैं प्लीज.
And this is actually an opportunity to really discuss कुछ issue है तो definitely discuss कर सकते हैं, because there is no right and wrong, everything is emerging.
सर कुरियर एजेंसी के रिलेटेड कैसे ये बिल का?
Sir, even for courier agencies, this is whether it will be applicable, because courier वाले क्या होगा कि मान लीजिए the Flipkart या whatever, he is carrying the goods and उसके box में multiple items है जो 50,000 के नीचे है, but कुल मिला के 50,000 से ज्यादा होगा. So rule 138 sub rule 7 is mainly brought in to regulate these people. As of now उनको notify नहीं किया, गवर्नमेंट ने still abeyance में रखा है क्योंकि ट्रांसपोर्टर हड़ताल कर दिया कि ये हमसे नहीं होगा. So very soon the government will bring in wherein they want to track these guys who are moving जो consignment value 50,000 से नीचे है, but the total value the conveyance value 50,000 से ऊपर है. अब as of now there is no obligation, but very soon आएगा. अगर उसमें से एक भी वैल्यू 50,000 से ऊपर है, then there is an obligation on him to generate the e-waybill. And my special thanks to Amit Mehta ji for calling me. Actually, it was a session to be there earlier, but for some reasons could not be done, and he did a wonderful job in coordinating in the last minute and in midnight within the due date of the CPRs. उन्होंने upload किया. Very sorry, sir, for troubling you, and really thank you for giving an opportunity and sharing some of my views to your branch member. This is the first time I am speaking, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. I request
कुछ questions है?
Sir, I
this
think
material presentation copy I will share it to the Amit ji.
Yes,
he can share it to you.
No problem. I request Yagnika to propose vote of thanks. Yagnika?
Yes. Thank you so much, sir, for giving a wonderful lecture, and it is very useful for us. And we look forward for the future lecture in our Navsari branch of WRC. I heartily thanking you on behalf of entire Navsari branch of WRC. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam, and thank you all the participants.
Thank you, sir.